Hi everybody, this is Jen from Scrapping Posh, and I'm here with the Artistic Studio Creation Design Team project, and this is going to be an organization project. So that's ASC Supplies on Etsy or asccraftsupplies.com. You can use Scrapping Posh 10 for 10% off your entire order. And today we're going to be packaging stamps. So the Lavinia stamps that ASC Supplies sells are these beautiful stamps. They come in packages like this, which I've had these in these packages, and also the Avery L packages that Crystal sells in the store. I've had these stored in these packages for a long time, and then I put them in some kind of container. Like this is a container from Target, the bathroom section, and I put them in here and I flip through them. They're nice in the Avery L pockets because they're all the same size and they're not so bad to pull in and out, but I wanted to put them on a shelf, and I want to put them on a shelf so I can see them all lined up. So I bought DVD cases, and my DVD cases are from checkoutstore.com, or I have a link for Amazon, my Amazon affiliate store below, for these DVD cases. They're the same size as like a Stampin' Up! DVD case, and they come like this. These are the ones with the tabs. They do sell them without the tabs. I believe those are more expensive, and they also have black. So if you're into, if you don't want the clear, but I already had clear ones, so I wanted to go ahead with the clear. So this is Sebastian. So if you're interested in this beautiful Lavinia stamp seahorse, this is Sebastian on ASC Supplies on Etsy. And we are going to package this so that I can find it on my shelf with my other items. So the first thing you do, get your DVD cases, and then you have to find the template for your cutout for your cover. And for these DVD cases, it's 10 3/4 by about 7 3/16, and then the front cover is 5 1/8. Your spine is a 1/2 inch. Yeah, so here is my finished Sebastian, and I just put one of the original cards in there. So, and you don't have to do that. And then I took the original plastic and I just put it on the front. And then this guy sits right on it. So the CD case does not have to, the DVD case, I'm sorry, it doesn't have to, the stamps don't have to stick to it. It sticks to the original, like, plastic that comes with the stamps. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, for this part of our journey, we are going to the PC, and I'm taking you to Silhouette Studio software, Silhouette of America, and the Cameo Silhouette software is free, and you just download it here. My version is actually an edition above the free edition, but there's nothing that I'm going to do that you need that for, and you don't have to have the Cameo to do this. So at the ASC Etsy site, and all the links will be below, and I want to save the images of the stamps that I have so that I can put the image on the spine of my DVD case. These images are low resolution on purpose so that you can't use them instead of the stamps, but they do an awesome job for the spine of the stamps. So you click an image, you go into that image itself and right click save as, and you want to make sure that it is a JPEG or a PNG or some file like that, and not a web file. Web files you will not be able to import into the Cameo software. So pick the ones that you have, save as, put them somewhere where you know where they're going to be on your website or on your desktop or wherever you have your saved files. And then I search Lavinia stamp backgrounds, and the first one that I pick is actually, it won't let me save it, and you'll see here that it says that it's a, when I go to save it, it just makes it bigger and it zooms in and does not allow me to save, and that's fine. I don't condone doing, like, stealing things to use them in your creative projects or to sell, but since I'm just making DVD covers for the stamps that I've already bought, I feel like this is okay. So I did find one that I could download, save as a JPEG, and now I'm going to open up my Cameo software so that I can start my DVD cover. And the first thing that I'm going to do is put in or make rectangles the dimensions that I had shown you before. And you can see here that I have, I think it's called the Designer Edition, and the one that you download for free is just a free trial, but it should still allow you to do everything that we do here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the mat and I'm going to make it a landscape so that it looks the same as the way my printer will print this. So if you go into the top file on the icon on the right hand side and you hit the orientation button, and it's down there where that ABC is, it will turn that. And then I go to the left hand side to make a rectangle, and then go to that icon on the right with the 3 rectangles, and the arrow that is pointing diagonally is the resize button. And in the rectangles where it says width and height, you put the width and height of the object that you're making, and I think mine was 7 1/8 by 10 3/4. And then a nifty little trick is, if you want it centered, to hit that center button in the upper toolbar. Next, I copy the rectangle by right-clicking and copy, and then I resize it again using the same icon. I'm changing colors just so you can see the different size rectangles. This is not necessary, but if you want to play with color, you go to the color palette. I'm going to go to that top toolbar again, and I'm going to basically justify these to the right. And you can see that's that button that I have there. It has the 3 little lines, and you go to the right and then you go to the middle. And that's going to put it all the way to the right horizontally, and in the center vertically. I'm going to right click, copy, and paste one more time, and I accidentally picked both rectangles. Well, I only need one. I'm going to make this one a 1/2 inch bigger in the width, and it's going to be my spine. So if you make it a 1/2 inch bigger there, so if we went from 5 1/8 to 5 5/8, and then I'm going to send it to the back, and that's just right click. I don't want to send it all the way to the back, but send back, and it takes it behind that pink panel. Then we're going to go ahead and go back to those 3 little lines where you justify to the right and to the center by pushing those specific buttons there. So now we have the CD cover geometry, we'll call it. And I'm going to get rid of the colors because they're distracting, and because if I'm going to use those images that we have, we don't want it to be pink. Don't worry about the red lines. Your red lines will not print unless you specifically tell the software to print the red lines. So I just go back into the color palette and I hit the no fill button, and now we're back to just the outline. And you hit the import button under File and find the files that you want, like any other file in your arsenal in your PC. And I'm going to bring in that background. And if you merge it instead of opening it, it will come into your software. It'll come into this page that's already open. If you import it, it will go into another page, and then you have to copy and paste it into this one. So if you merge it, it will come into the software or the page that you're currently designing. I simply use a rectangle to put around the image because there's white around it. I go to the weld icon on the right, which is the square with the little circle above it, and I hit the crop button. The crop button is going to take everything outside of the rectangle that I put on top and get rid of it. So now I'm just left with the color that I want. And I size that by using the corner and bottom arrows to make it the size of the CD cover. The great thing about this cover is that you could reuse it over and over again by just changing which stamp you put on it. I wanted my stamp image on the front to stand out, so I'm putting a white oval in the middle of this background. You put an oval by using the circle icon on the left-hand side, go to the color palette and change it white. You can also change the outline white, but it doesn't really matter because the red won't print. It's just for visual to give you a better idea. Go down to the bottom of the color palette and there is a transparency line, and I put mine at about 45%. And then you can still see the background, but it'll give you a sharper image to stamp on. Now that I have that base image done, we can add our text. So if you hit on the right hand side, the icon that has the A, that is your text. And Lavinia uses, in my opinion, a Times New Roman for Lavinia and a script for stamps. You can add more fonts to your studio library by downloading any font onto your computer. Now you simply find the right font, click your text button on the left-hand side and begin to type. You will have to change your inside and outside lines to the color that you want. So once all the text is complete, and you can change your font, your color, and everything once it is complete. You don't have to do that first. Then I'll show you changing the outline and the color block to black. I'm looking for the script, and this one I'm using the script MT bold, and I think that's what the stamps is actually. It's more, I don't know that it's bold, but I like the bold, so we're going to go with the bold. I highlight both of them and go to the color palette. We're going to make those black, and then I go to the line color, also making it black. Okay, and then I copy and paste it because I'm going to use it on the front cover and on the spine. And then I get to adjust the font size and the font just by clicking on that text block. So once I get that top Lavinia stamps the way that I want it, I'm going to merge my stamp image in the same way that I did my background. And some of the stamped images don't have the silhouette, which again is by design. They don't want you to be able to copy and paste it and use it as a stamp. So this one actually has a background, and also it has a really low resolution. But since the spine is only 1/2 inch, the resolution, you're not even going to notice it. I took a break. Instead of importing that stamp, I picked the one that I wanted, and I'm going to change that text to the name of the stamp. That's going to be the Lavinia for the spine. And for some reason on this one, I decided I didn't need it to say Lavinia Stamps, but all the other ones that I did do say Lavinia Stamps, so I'll probably go back to putting the stamps on the side and redo this one. I just thought for some reason it looked big, but I do like it there, so I'm going to change it. Okay, I'm going to pick my image, and I think, yep, I'm going to do Althea. I thought I was doing Althea. Yes. So Althea is the mermaid, and you can see that her image in the silhouette is skewed to the right, but the main image is just the image from the package. So I'm going to merge that into my file. And sometimes I have to go to my library because my software freaks out. Not a big deal. So I hit merge, not open, go to Althea, and she turns out really big. I'm going to pull her off to the side so you guys can see what I'm doing. Rotate her at a 90-degree using those 3 bars on the right hand side and then the rotate button. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the background stamp, and I'm going to outline her in a rectangle. And there she is. And then we're going to go to, on the right hand icons, this weld icon, which is the square with the circle on it. And we're going to use the crop button to get rid of all the extra stuff. She's still really big, so I'm going to use the size button to get her down to a 1/2 inch. But if you don't want to use the size button, you can simply use the arrows to make it bigger and smaller. So this is the size button, and if you hit the lock on the right hand side, it will keep your proportions. So if you're sizing the stamp, you want to keep your proportions. And she has a little bit of green in her background, but it's fine. The stamp box looks perfectly fine. I just resized that background a little bit, and I took this other Lavinia image. I sized it to where not the image, but the text, I sized it to the right size, and I'm putting the stamp's name. And you can put anything you want there. You can put the SKU number or the Lavinia number, depending on whatever you want. And now, if you're happy with the way this is, you don't want anything on the back cover, you can always put things on the back cover. If you don't want anything on the back cover, I'm going to save as, and I save it to the hard drive, and I just put Althea. It'll save as a studio file, so it won't override the JPEG. And we're ready to print. I did have a little bit of problems printing on my printer the first time. Note that it's going to give you about an 1/8 border, even though we don't have margins. To be sure you don't have margins set up, but it is going to give you about an 1/8 border on the right hand side. Okay, and that's it. That's the tutorial for your Lavinia stamp cover using the Cameo free software. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I can do a better tutorial if this one's not clear enough. And yeah, I will talk to you in the craft room. Okay, so once we print those out, they look like this. And you can see the image, the small image in the spine. And there's the 2 images there of Ren and Layla. And let's just get started on one. You can get your paper trimmer out, or you can do it by hand. And the first thing I'm going to do is cut this. It's about 1/8 inch off, and it's just the margin. It's just the margin from the printer, because we didn't leave margins. Line it up. It wasn't perfectly straight, but whatever. We'll deal. And you cut the bottom and the top. We sized that to fit, so I wanted to make sure that my stamp is on the front is going to be to size. And this is Althea, and she is a large mermaid, very large actually. And I just put my paper in here upside down on my stamp press or whatever, so that when I go to stamp, it's on the right side. Fill your stamp. And then place it where you want it to be. And we made that oval in the middle specifically to place the stamps over. I'll move my magnets closer to the image so that if it moves, if it sticks. All right. You guys are going to like this if you're not familiar with Lavinia stamps. And you can customize this. You can do whatever color you want. You do not have to do black. You can do color coding, do anything you want. I will link Lavinia stamps below. And I will link the rest of the stuff that I'm using below also. And if you mess this up, like this move a little bit because it's just within pressure paper. If you mess up, you can always just print it away. Yeah, see, that one's double stamped. I thought I got it moved the right way, but it was going to be closer. But it still looks good, so I'm going to use it. Okay. Check my stamp. Clean handy. Hold it as I can. Okay. Now take about an 1/8 inch off that. Quarter. Okay. Once it's in there where you want it to be, straight, you close it up. And there is your case, your customized Lavinia stamp case. And then you take your film and I'm using ATG tape. I would use some kind of tape adhesive. Get it right.
And there it is. Where's my Sebastian? I lost him. How cute is that? I didn't realize I put that on there. Oh well. Okay, and now let's do one with 2. I wanted to show you guys the process. So I super hope that you enjoy it and that you try it with your stamps if it's something that you're interested in. Head on over to ASC Supplies on Etsy, get your Lavinia stamps and much more. Use Scrapping Posh 10 for 10% off the normal price purchase, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.